Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video. My name is Dr. Ray. Welcome to my channel. I am a small animal general practitioner, and on this channel I answer your questions about pets. And today we are having a lovely hurricane day, so bonus multiple videos today, maybe if I can keep the power on and the internet working and the video camera charged. So we are going to jump in and do some pet reviews today and make the most of our time. I have a list, believe it or not, of foods that you guys have asked me to review. I try to get to all of them. I super duper promise that I do, but it does take me some time to film these videos because I am a full-time veterinarian when I am not here with you guys. So keep the requests coming, and I promise I will get through them, and maybe today we will get through some extras since there's not much else that we can do today. I think that we are going to do Carna4. Carna4. This is one that you guys have asked me, multiple people have asked me, so I think it's good to jump in to do that. If they have cat and dog, we're going to do both of those today, and we're going to compare their nutrients to small animal clinical nutrition. We're going to use the point scoring system, 10 points. We'll go through what you get points for, and at the end, those points mean absolutely nothing, but they do allow us to kind of compare different foods and keep them on an even keel. I like to do these reviews where we try to remove all the marketing. We don't want the marketing which is geared at and professionally geared at emotionally blackmailing us and sucking us in. So we don't want that. We want the facts. We want to stick to the facts, and that's what we're going to do today. All right. So here we are on the Carna4 website. They do dog and cat, so we're going to do both dog and cat. It is a Canadian-free company. Let's see. I'm getting checking in. My sister-in-law is checking in on me during the hurricane. I'm still here. Let me silence that. Okay, so Carna4, we're going to do the dog food chicken. It's synthetic free, and it's another Canadian company, so I'm kind of interested in a number of Canadian companies I've been asked about, so that's kind of cool. Let's see what their call outs are. No meat or vegetable meals, deboned Atlantic salmon, no vitamin premix needed, natural ingredients provide a dog a clean, complete diet that is everyday easy. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into this. We're going to skip the ingredients for the most part. Now, if we're using the pet food scoring system, there are 2 points that you get on the ingredient panel. You get a point for not being grain-free, and you get a point for not being raw. And so they are going to get those 2 points. As far as the remainder of the ingredients go, not going to jump into them because ingredients to me are a secondary after the nutrients. So if we go through this food and it meets all the marks for the nutrient level, so the calcium, the phosphorus, the fat, all that stuff is on point, then we'll go through and we'll pick apart the ingredients. But how we get to those nutrients are not as important to me. I'm not going to say they're not important. They are important, so don't get me wrong there. I know I get a lot of comments in there in the comment section about, well, the ingredients are important. They are important. I'm not saying they're not important. They're just not as important to me as hitting the mark nutritionally. And so that's kind of my thing here. I'm a numbers person, and so I like the food to meet the numbers first. And once we meet the numbers, then yeah, we can get into the ingredient list. But we're not even there yet. We need to go through this. We need to score this food, and then if this food, this food scores high, and you guys want to get into the ingredients and break down ingredients, we can. But for right now, for our purposes, we are going to focus on numbers, and we're going to use this pet food scoring system. So ingredient list is there for you to peruse if that's something that you guys fancy, but we're going to just give 2 points because it's not grain-free and it's not raw. Okay, next thing we have is the AFCO statement. There's 2 points here. This food was formulated. That means that this food was not feeding child. They did not test, their formula. They did not test their recipe. They just, put stuff together in a computer, the computer spit it out, and they packaged it, and they're going to sell it to you, and they honestly don't know how this food performs. Essentially, you guys are the test subject, so I don't like to see that. I like to see food feeding child, so they are going to lose a point there. The second thing is this food is all life stages. And you can read what it says here. It meets the nutritional levels established by AFCO. Those are the, the levels that we're going to be paying attention to for all life stages. But, it says, offers much more. In fact, our nutrient content exceeds AFCO requirements in all cases. You can see this for yourself in the following table. And so they're going to prove to us that essentially what they're saying is their food is overdosing your pet. So exceeding nutrient levels, just like when we exceed things, we exceed, let's say, I exceed the recommended dosage for your pet's medication, that's an overdose. When you exceed nutrients, exceed something that we are giving to our pet to perform optimal nutrition, going over those levels isn't necessarily good. More is not better. More means extra work on the kidneys. More means extra work on, the organ systems to process that. And we really don't need that. We want optimal. We want optimal level, not just excess. Because what's the, upper level to excess? We already know that level. We have a nutrient profile. We have a standard. We have a range. And so why are we going above that range? Why are we going above the recommended, the tested level? They're not testing it. They're saying right there they didn't test it. And so where are they getting these numbers where they're saying they exceed? And so I get a little bit worried when it says that, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to check that when we get into the nutrient levels, but they're going to lose a point here because we don't want all life stages. We don't want to feed. So you can check out my foundational videos, but just a little quick guide on all life stage foods and why you should avoid all life stage foods. All life stage foods means it is acceptable for a pregnant mom that has very high nutrient requirements to, nutrient and develop babies. Often dogs have 2, 3, 4 babies. That stuff requires a lot of nutrient. So they're growing that and they need that nutrient, that nutrient density. It means it's okay for a puppy that is born this big and grows to be in an entire, year, grows to be a full-grown dog, fully adult body in a dog. So think about that. In a human, we're born really small, and it takes us 18 years to get where we need to be. In a dog, that's happening in 1 year. So imagine the nutrient density that is required for that. We don't want that same nutrient density for our adult dog that is sitting on the couch all day, or maybe goes for a walk, leisurely walk around the park. We don't want that. That's way too much. And so an all life stage food is not ideal. We want a food that is for our particular pet. And so when a company toots their horn and says, oh, we're so good, our food is so good, you could feed it to any size, any age, any lifestyle, that's just not correct, because it is physically impossible to meet the optimal levels for a pregnant lactating dog, a puppy, a kitten, and a sedentary adult. It's just not possible. Now, legally, it is acceptable. That's why they can put it on the package, and they're trying to, make you guys feel like that's a good thing. But in reality, it is not a good thing. And so they're going to lose a point there. So far they've got 2 points for the ingredient list, but 0 points on the AFCO statement. Now we're going to go to the nutrient parameters, and so we're going to run into a little bit of a problem here that I didn't realize until just a minute ago. I did peruse this website and I looked at it and I said, oh, okay, well, they're listing the minimum and the maximum for fiber and moisture. That's no big deal. But we do have actual numbers here on the rest of the parameters. And then I noticed this little blurb here where it says this is a minimum ASFED. That's not exactly what we want. So we're going to hop over to Bard, which is our friendly Google AI, and see if they can get us the dry matter basis for Carna4 adult chicken. All right, so these are our ideals here on the right-hand side. This comes from Small Animal Clinical Nutrition. It's linked down below. You're welcome to peruse that. It's a free link. I do encourage you actually to. It's a long read, but maybe there's some nice charts and things in there, so maybe flip through that, and you'll kind of be up to speed on where these numbers come from. Protein is in excess, so they were not lying about that. we ideally want an adult dog to be between 15 and 30. They're at 31. Fat is 17%. So they weren't true about that. They're not meeting or exceeding, the fat recommendations. The fat should be between 10 and 20, and they're at 17. So that's actually correct. So they're getting 1 point so far. Let's see if we can find dry matter basis of calcium. Right here. Okay. All right, so here are the rest of the nutrients that we need. We've got calcium at 1.5 and phosphorus at 0.9. Those are both going to be in excess of what we want. So calcium should be no more than 1, and phosphorus should be no more than 0.8. So they're going to lose the points on that. Do they list the fiber? Now, the fiber they did list on the website as a minimum and maximum. We just want it to be less than 5. Yeah, and it's 4% max, so they're going to get a point for that. So it looks like they are only going to get a point on here for the fat and also the fiber. So that's 2 points for that. So we're going to tally up really quick what we've got so far. 2 points on the nutrient analysis, 2 points on the ingredient list. That's 4, 0 points on the AFCO statement. So let's see, what else do we need to evaluate on this one? Yeah, let's go to the feeding guide. Let's go to the feeding guide. Okay, and so you can see with an all life stage food, the feeding guide gets really convoluted. You've got all these different, chart that you have to pick from. We're going to pick a 20-pound dog because I already know what that is. A 20-pound dog resting energy requirement is around 360 kcals, 585 if you use the multiplier. You can check out my resting energy requirement video if you want to learn how to calculate that. But that's about what we're shooting for here. And so 1 cup. Got to be here somewhere. Okay, 500 kcals per 8 fluid ounce cup. So a 20-pound dog, 1 cup as an adult. That's going to be okay if you use the multiplier. I tend to shy away from it, and so you may have to do a little bit less than that. But if you use the multiplier, 500 kcals is probably fine. Let's see what else. So they're going to get 1 point there. So we're up to 5 points. I think that is actually all of the things we need to review as far as the point scoring system. So they're going to get a 5 for the canine on the point scoring system. I do want to come here and look at what they are saying is so great about all life stage foods. Why all life stage is important. Okay. This is completely false here, where it's talking about why it's okay to feed an all life stage food. It says that we can skip through it, but it's okay to feed an all life stage food even though they realize that the nutrients are too high for an adult. It says this means that the ratio of calcium to phosphorus and other nutrients is adjusted as it is digested. Extra calcium, for instance, will get stored in the blood rather than the bones. That's not true. You don't store anything in your blood. That's actually quite comical. No, it doesn't get stored in the blood. Yeah, it gets put in the blood, or it's in the blood, and then what happens is the kidneys have to process that. So we're asking the kidneys to do a lot of work unnecessarily, and so I'm not sure where they got that information, or if a veterinarian told them that or not, but that's completely false. And that's actually quite sad that they're trying to get people to feel that way just because they don't want to, make a food that is for a correct life stage. Let's go on. So the dog scored a 5, I think it was. So 2 on the ingredient list, none on the AFCO statement. 2 on that guaranteed analysis, and 1 on the feeding guide. So 5. Let's see what they got on their cat. Which one should we pick? So they've got both the cat foods here. I'm assuming the fresh fish formula, fresh chicken, the AFCO statement is the same for both. So again, it's formulated on all life stages, so they're not going to get any points there. We just talked about why that's not ideal, especially not ideal for a cat, because there's a big difference between senior cat needs, especially in the kidneys, versus a kitten or a pregnant. So we're not happy about that. We're going to have to probably ask Bard again for the parameters. So let's do that. There it is. We've got everything we need now. So let's pull up our cat. Okay. So cat nutrient profile right here, 30 to 45 on the protein. We're good. We're at 44. Fat 16. So we're good on the fat. Now the big ones, the calcium and the phosphorus. Calcium at 1.4 is excess. Phosphorus at 1 is at excess. And so again, we're losing sight here. Focusing too much maybe on some of the more superfluous things, and we're letting the really important stuff like the calcium and phosphorus, the mineral content of the food, kind of get swept under the rug. And so with cats, especially with cats, we're losing sight of those really important things, because calcium and phosphorus in a cat is really important. As they age, the kidneys are one of the first organs we see cause issues and affect quality of life and affect longevity of life. And so if we want to do something for our pet, we need to make sure that we are not overdosing them or over supplementing things that don't need over supplementation, because it is not stored in the blood. It is filtered out by the kidneys. And so we are asking them to do extra stuff that is not necessary. And so with me, I'm a little bit disappointed that this calcium and phosphorus, is off. And a lot of time when we use really high protein ingredients, and we're not using ingredients maybe that, if we're touting, okay, most 90% or whatever is meat or meat sources, sometimes we can run into issues with excess minerals because of that. So they're only going to they're losing the calcium and phosphorus. I didn't look up the fiber. We do need to check the fiber really quick. Fiber needs to be less than 5%. We can check over here for that. Fiber is 4% max, so they're good. So they're going to lose points on this for the calcium and the phosphorus only. We were okay with the protein was 44. We were okay with that. Yeah, so we're just going to lose 2 here, but they're a big important 2 in my opinion. And so let's count up the points so far. We've got 3 on the AFCO statement, 3 on the guaranteed analysis, 0 on the AFCO statement, and 2 on the ingredient list, so we're up to 5. Let's see if we can get that one last point for the feeding guide. Okay, so it's 409 kcals per cup. An average cat is going to be about 200 kcals. I'm not going to do the calculation, but you can go ahead and check the chart in some of the earlier videos, the resting energy requirement video, if you want to double check me. But 200 calories is about right for an obese prone adult cat, which most cats are obese prone. We keep them inside the house for the most part. It may be a little bit different if you have an outdoor cat. I've never heard of a sporting cat, so I don't think that anybody's going to comment and say, well, what about sporting cats? Because that's usually some of the comments I get with the dogs, but I think we're pretty safe here with the cats. So 409, we're saying for a 10-pound cat, 2/3 of a cup. So let's see. 0.6, 245. It's a little bit higher than I want, and they're probably using the multiplier. So if you do 200 and you multiply it by 1.6, it's 320. So I'll give them a point there. Just be careful. I wouldn't necessarily feed that amount. I would probably shy a little bit lower than what they're saying on the feeding guidelines. So we'll give them a point there. So they're going to get is that a 5? Did we make it up to 5? Oh no, we're up to 6. We're up to 6. So 6 is a little bit better than the dog version. So the cat version was a little bit better than the dog. They got a 6 there. So we need to make sure what we learn here is Don't let the packaging suck you in. You know, go through and break things down. Don't let the ingredients suck you in. Make sure the nutrients are there first, and really pay attention to the minerals. The calcium and the phosphorus, especially in cats, is very important. So don't let that be kind of an afterthought. Let that be in your forefront. Let that be the main reason why you're looking at these things, and then let some of these other more superfluous things like, you know, pretty packaging and things like, you know, rare ingredients and fancy ingredients and extra, you know, gastrointestinal probiotics and stuff like that. That's all secondary. We need to make sure that the important stuff is there. And so that's why I invented that pet scoring system, just to help us keep those things in mind. So here, you know, there you have it. We've got a Carna4 for dog and Carna4 for cat. If you guys have any comments that you would like to share with me, please leave them down below. I do read through them and respond to your questions. Feel free to make a comment if you have another food that you would like me to review. And make sure that you subscribe and ring the bell and give me a thumbs up if you liked this video and you liked hanging out with me. We will hang out again real soon. All right, bye guys.